The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. And I'll also give a shout out to our official sponsor, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and more. Also coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. He is here, backed by popular demand, the Singing Cowboy. He appeared with Kenny Lee on a 4th of July special a while back, and he also has his own appearance. And basically, it's all about sharing faith and sharing good times, and also enjoying some country music and talking about the Lord Savior Jesus Christ. And he's produced a number of songs, and it's been on Reverb Nation, also SoundCloud, Spotify, and more. He did a nice Don Williams tune, and he also believes in love, and just many, many tunes. And he's also got a new one coming out as well, too, and he's got his friend and producer with him as well, too, Tom Denman. So live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios somewhere in the United States, in a beautiful country, ladies and gentlemen, the Singing Cowboy and his friend producer, James Hendry and Tom Denman. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us, and God bless you guys.
Well, thank you. Nice being here. Morning there, Mike. Nice to be here, too.
Well, it's great to have you guys as well, too. And, of course, James, you've been singing for quite some time. You're on the road, and you just crank a lot of tunes, and you've got some really good songs on Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, Spreaker, and whatever else. And, of course, for those who want to find out more about James Hendry, you can also go to the Mike Wagner Show on the Facebook page, and also over 30 podcast platforms. And James, you know, of course, 2020 is is behind us as well, too. And what have you been up to during the pandemic? And tell us about some of the songs you've written.
You know, you can always look at things in a different point of view. And I thank God for everything, because the Bible says you're to thank God for everything. And the Apostle Paul was in the deepest dungeon in prison, and yet he thanked God. That's when he wrote that. Thank God for everything. And this pandemic has not bothered me. I'm too old for it to bother. And I enjoy writing. It gives me more an opportunity to get in here and to write songs. I have one that's going to be finished up today. And the thing I'd like to talk about today is one of the things is how does a song, where does it come from out of a writer? And what is it that inspires you to write a song? And I was talking to Tom about it, and he was and we was discussing that before we got on the air here. And I have a good friend of mine. I mean, they are so great. It's called Bigfoot Studio out of Shelton, North Carolina. And his name is Richard Putman. And he and one guy lays down every track to a song. Now, I'm not talking about just lays it down. I'm talking about it's professional. It's very good. And they do all my music for me. He does all my corrections. He does everything. And he does a great job, and that's Richard Putman. And so I'll give a phone number and everything later on to him. But he's a good man. But besides that, this pandemic hasn't bothered me because I take advantage of every situation. I'm a veteran, and I had to learn to do that in Vietnam. So you just people need to hang in there and really realize, stop worried about the time being shut up in a house, and look around and start looking at their children and their grandchildren and start enjoying the moment that they're having right now, because this is a moment we hadn't had years, where families are having to get together. They're going to have to learn to live together. They're going to have to learn to get along and to work together. And that's the way it was in the old days, before TV and before everything else came along. It was all about the family. And what do you think, Tom?
I think that's about right. I mean, you can have friends, and like Lois is still saying, you can pick your friends and you can pick your neighbors, but you can't pick your relatives. So you just got to live with them. See, I don't know. I've been pretty lucky. I've got a brother and a sister and a bunch of stepbrothers and a bunch of stepsisters, and as far as I'm concerned, they're all just family. It's a good life as far as I'm concerned.
In other words, it hasn't slowed us down. Back to you.
That's got to be amazing as well, too. And Tom, since you're on the Mike Wagner show as well, too, you did some producing with James Hendry. And tell us how you got started, Tom.
Well,
and you don't have to sing for us, by the way. So
I've been in and out of trucks since I was about 8 years old. I used to ride with my dad all the time. And about 15, 16 years old, he put me behind the wheel, and then I decided that what I want to do. And I've always kind of had things running through my head, which I thought I was kind of crazy most of the time, but every now and then I'd come up with a song or a verse or a lyric or a melody, and I just started having a lot of time to sitting in a truck with nothing to do except drive down the road. You can have a lot of time to think about things, to write things. And I've got a whole lot of songs in my head, but most of them aren't on any paper. So I met Jim about 8 years ago, and we just started kind of chit-chatting and talking, and ran team a few times, and he kind of mentored me out into the world of getting, well, hey, get brave, get bold, write something down, sing it out loud. And that's basically how I've been doing it.
Wow, that is interesting. You guys have been doing it for 8 years, and of course, you've been in business for a while as well, too. And who are some of your favorite artists and singers growing up, Tom?
Mr. Straight, of course. I really love Tim McGraw. He brought a lot of meaning into our family's life. I was married to a gal for a while, and we went to a bar one night, and it was kind of a rock and roll bar. And they played a country song, and she said, we're leaving. So we did. And after we got divorced, she was all mad at me because my kids all liked country music, and she was sure that I was turning my kids away from her. Well, that was her problem, and I didn't really care.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I've been listening to country music since I was a little kid. I mean, my dad and mom played it all the time, and when I went to college, I was going to be a music major, and I just liked all kinds of music, like all of my life, I guess. I just the songs I write now are about truck driving, but I'm gonna help changing. I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you something about Tom. I want everybody to hear this because he's been a blessing to me. You really know who your friends are if things are going down and out on you, and they say, "Hey, I'll take care of that." And I had a piece to my studio I needed, but I didn't have money for it at the time. And Tom says, well, how much is it? And I told him, and he took out the money and gave me the money.
Nice.
It really touched my heart. It choked me up. And I said, are you sure? He said, go get what you need. Just get some recording done. And he inspired me. And then I just lost a good friend. And he played also with Mel Tillis. He did that. We kind of worked together, but not at the same time with the same man. And his name is Thomas Mann. Well, I just did 3 songs on his last album. And he got a hold of me, he says, again through social media, and somebody said, you guys need to get together. And I have a lot of friends in South Florida where I was raised and born, where I was born and raised at, and as a cowboy. And he said, yo, these, and they're girls, they're ladies that they're grown women today, and they're wonderful people. I mean, absolutely the best friends. And it all started at the creek, Palmdale. And that's where all of us old Palmdale boys, cowboys, would go meet our girlfriends. We'd take them out in what we call swamp buggies, but really was nothing but old car with the body taken off. It was a frame, and you sit on
an orange crate, or it may have a seat in it if you was real lucky, but we'd take the hood of them old cars and put them behind that thing, and we'd go through sawgrass. There was little sawgrass ponds that wasn't very deep, and we'd take that hood and run around there and push down all that sawgrass where people wouldn't get cut on it, because that's why they call it sawgrass, it'll cut you.
Oh, wow.
And so we push it down, and then we go get them girls, get the girls at the creek, and we take them in our old buggies and get out there and put them on that hood. It was like sledding. It's called Tom Bell sledding.
Tom Bell sledding. Wow, that's a new sport. I think we should present that to the Olympics.
Well, yeah, but it was you tie a long rope to it, and then you start spinning around, and that thing would just be like a ski in water, and we kids had a ball. It was all clean fun. That's the only way it would be. And then the town where I grew up will always be home to me. We'll be a little place called Palmdale, Florida. Fish Eating Creek runs through it. I have written a lot of poetry, and I wrote a thing. It didn't come from the song, I'm just a country boy. It was a poem. I'm just a country boy. Mm-hmm. And it talks about the creek. It talks about the one store that we had. Well, there was three. There was really two stores and a restaurant and a gas station. Well, we called it a service station because they would wash your windshield and clean everything up. And then we had one bar in Palmdale, and it was called the Oasis. And we young kids used to call it the old something else, so you just use your imagination. And one of the ladies at Bannock, her son played professional guitar in Nashville, and he did studio work and toured. And so we all kind of we didn't even think second about anything else but country, because we're country people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote my first song, The Best Is Yet to Come, and I was 12 years old, and it really went over real big.
Wow.
And so, and then ever since then, I just lost my heart to write. I just thought after I came back from Vietnam, I just wanted to stay away from people. And I got back in trucking, and that was a good way to keep away from people. And I stayed clear of them, and there were a lot of things that happened in my life that pointed me in the right direction and led me right back where I should have never left. Mm-hmm. One was a guy named Jack Bailey. He was my dad. He never adopted me. He never had to do that. But I'd go see my dad, and my dad was very cruel, and he was cruel with his tongue, talking bad about my mom and stuff, and so I'd go down to see him, come back, and I'd be broken up, just crying. And one day he told me, he said, "Son," he said, "I'm going to tell you something right now." He said, "It's not that man, you don't deserve him. He deserves you, but you don't deserve him." He said, "You got all the dad you'll ever have to have in your life right here standing in front of you." From that day on, that adoption started. He was my dad. Mm-hmm. And every time I had a problem, I could go to Jack. And Jack Bailey could talk to anybody. He was very, very intelligent. He was from Bluefield, West Virginia, a fantastic pilot. We flew together. We had so much in common that we learned later on in our lives. And so he told me, he said, why don't you write a song? And I go, "Well, I really don't want to." He said, "No, you need to write a song." He said, "You got a voice." He said, "You need to, I love to hear you sing. He said, do your own stuff." And so he pushed me in the right direction to go back to writing. And I went back to writing. And then I started first with just writing poetry. And I started writing, the first thing I wrote was, I'll give you the first thing I wrote in poetry when I started back. Not the first thing I wrote, but it goes, life can be grand or life can be cruel, yet it is still life that proves you to be true. If life was easy with no daily task, then God would have no way of putting you through his test. So you take one day at a time, but you take it real slow. But look to our Heavenly Father as on you go, for he's just a chapter away, or a whisper on your lips, to answer your prayers and to give you your help. I wrote that in a time that I really need to write that, because I was going through some bad times, and that just came to me. That's how it works. So I went back to writing, and now it's starting to come back real strong to me. But I have noticed my writing today is nothing like it was when I was younger. Today I'm doing more of what you call country gospel. I just finished a song. I sent it to you, and it's called God Sent Me an Angel.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If people don't write what I write, that's okay with me. It doesn't bother me. I can't help but to write what I write, because everything I have and everything that we are and everything we will ever be is all because of God. It will never change. He gives us our talent. And we was talking about how a song starts. When I have dreamed songs and woke up and wrote that song. And I wrote a song that Kenny Lee did for me. He had to leave because of emergencies. And I wrote a song called A Heart of an Angel. I dreamed that song.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up immediately, and I wrote that song, and the music came to my head, the whole thing. And so I wrote that song, and then we talked about this before, Little Bitty Bitty Broken Heartache. That song came about going down the road, and I got thinking, what can I write that besides just love songs with the melody, the same melody, same melody. So I came up with Little Bleeding, Beating, Broken Heartache. And I got laughing because everything I wrote in that song is real. And it shows that God created a woman to be my helpmate and to be the love of my life. She's not just your helpmate, but she is to be treasured as the highest treasure on this earth that you have. And my wife is the greatest treasure I have, and I'm working on a new song now that talks about that. It talks about how there are different kind of love we have in our life. We have a love that's superficial. We have a love we see with our eyes, which is called lust.
Mm-hmm.
We have love love of money, which will leave you high and dry.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a love that when man finally gets serious with it, he gets on his knees and he prays to God to send him his perfect helpmate. And I had to do that. And God sent me my sweet Diane. I always call her my angel,
Mm-hmm.
because she was simply God. And as far as I'm concerned, I think she was his top angel. And I'm so grateful in my life to have what I have in my life. And she has been my greatest treasure, and that's in the song. And it talks about building, start now, her being nervous and me watching her come down the aisle towards me when we got married. And then from that day on, we have held hands, and we have never once let anything put us under. Not one thing, no matter how bad it got, nothing will do that. We won't let that happen, because when things get going bad, when things get going bad, you got to hold on to each other. You don't need to pull apart. You need to hold on very tight. And you need to get on your knees together, and you need to pray to God together.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandpa always said, a family that stays together, prays together, is a family that stays together.
Mm-hmm.
So my songs all come from a thought, and from that thought, it continues to build and I just showed him what I did. I'll get on my speakerphone, and I'll start singing it, and then I'll sing it another way, and I'll add something else to it, and then I'll sing it another way, and I'll add something else. Then I take all that and compile it together, and it will take and lead me to a pretty good song. But it's because it's a lot of work, and it's not easy. And it goes from that to, then it goes to put the music to it, then it comes back to you, then you got to sing it again. Then after you sing it again on the final vocal, it goes back to the studio, and then they add all the instruments and everything that needs to go to that song. Then the song comes back, and you have to approve it, say, yes, I like that, and then you got a song. And that's how a song is built, and that's how it starts.
That is so amazing. And Tom, feel free to jump in on the conversation. Your thoughts on what Jimmy has talked about, or do you have anything to say, or feel free to jump in.
Well, anybody that knows me is going to be in total disbelief that I'm not just rattling away like a freight train, because most of the time if I tell a story, they look at their watch and start figuring out how long they're going to be sitting around.
Well, you're doing good competition, I'll tell you that. Here, I got my watch. Ready, start now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Everything that I've written is something that it's like I was saying, I don't have a lot of songs. I've only been playing around with writing music for probably the last, Jim's going to laugh now, maybe 35 years. One of the first songs that I ever wrote, I actually got a lyric to, and I had the melody to it and everything, was a song I wrote for my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, my brother, my sister, my dad, and I are standing out in my garage, and I said, hey, I wrote a song. And Dad goes, oh, okay. And so I sang it to him. And got done, and he looked at me, and he goes, not a bad song. You just got to find somebody that can sing.
Parents do tell you things you don't even know about. I'll tell you that. So,
yeah. So it never deterred me any, but he was a great guy, my dad. I mean, he was a hard-working man and drove truck all his life. And I asked him one time when I was just a little kid, I said, why are you a truck driver? And he says, well, I can listen to the radio, I can drink my coffee, I can smoke my cigarettes, sit on my bottom, and they pay me for it. And I kind of laughed at that, but basically the songs that I come up with are something that I've written a song called Glow in the Night Sky. That song started in my head one time coming out of L.A., Highway 15 coming into Vegas, and that Vegas at that time, just the whole the whole sky was just as bright as you could. I mean, the glow of that steel. And I thought about it, and about 10, 15, 20 years later, I'm driving down the road, and I says, I glow in the night sky thing, and so I started playing with it. But it's just, I don't know, I've only actually I'm 70 years old now, and Jim finally pushed me into doing something when I was 69. So I've been in the business since probably November of last year, and thanks to Jim, hopefully I would think one of the biggest boosts of my life, I don't know, boost if you want to call it that, is if somebody heard one of my songs and actually wanted to record it and wanted to play it, and 5, 10 years from now, one of my kids could hear it and say, "Dad wrote that."
I'm gonna give you the song, and I'm gonna acapella a piece of it. Okay.
Okay,
Are
go.
You ready?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Here we go. There's a glow in the night sky that keeps calling me back home. Every driver has one that they can call their own. No matter where I travel, no matter where I roam, there's a glow in the night sky that keeps calling me back home. And that's the melody and the tune to his new song. And I did the demo, and he first, I had him come over here, he sung the song, and he gave me the lyrics, and then I started playing with it, and then I finished the song. And that's the same thing it was with, and I'm gonna put a little kick in here if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Thomas Mann, what a songwriter! My goodness. He even helped kick me into high gear to get me going even more. And he got a hold of me. He says, "I've been listening to your songs," and he said, I've got 3 songs I want you to do on my new album." He said, "It's going to be my last album." And I said, "Why is it going to be your last album?" He said, "I have cancer."
Oh, my goodness.
I said, "Paul, it would be my honor if you do your 3 songs." And one of them is called "Beneath the Weeping Willow Tree." And I asked him, I said, and it's in God's garden, and it's talking about beneath the weeping willow tree. Every mother will be standing beneath the weeping willow tree. And I begin to think about that, and I said, I kept it going through my head, and I said, well, I know there's a tree of life, but I don't read in the Bible where there's a weeping willow tree. So I had to call Tom back, and I said, why didn't you just use the tree of life? It fits perfect in the song. And he said, and Tom and his family I think he had a pretty good sized family. He has a brother. I talked to him when Tom passed away. I talked to his wife. But I think he's got some brothers, sisters, and they're originally from Arkansas. But they was raised down around Pahokee, Florida. They was living in that area. And that's where Mel Lewis is from. And so I asked him, and he said, my mother read me a story when I was a little boy about a little girl that got lost. And the next day, her mother found her beneath the weeping willow tree. But the weeping willow tree goes to the ground. It kind of hides you, And I told him, I said, Tom, we'll leave that song as it is. Then he wrote a song called Angel. And it was Angel, Angel. And I heard the guy that first did the demo on it. And I said, Tom, can I play with the words on this song? And he says, well, let me see what you have. And so I said, let's pinpoint whose angel she is. Angel, angel. That's all I want. That's all I ever see. And I went, why don't you pinpoint whose angel? My angel, my angel. And he said, I like it. And I started playing with it, and I changed about 3 or 4 words in the song. It was still his song. There's no way I'll take credit for that song because that was his song.
Amazing.
And then I did another one. It was called, let's see, it was that one, Beneath the Weeping Willow Tree. That was Angel, matter of fact, the one I'm talking about. And then Choices We Made. And it's talking about the choices we make in life we have to live with. And I began to do that song, and Angel was a tough one for me to do because it was something more like a rock and roll in the 50s songs.
Uh-huh.
And don't get me wrong, I love old rock and roll, and I can do it. But it was kind of tough on me because when Richard Putnam sent me the music, it was a little high for my old voice, for my young voice. Are you still there?
I'm here. Are you still there?
Yeah, for my young voice, it was great. But for my old voice, no, it was horrible. And so I ended up going ahead and I did 3 songs for him, and his wife just sent me. We still call it an album, but his wife sent me the CD, and he has some superb singers on that CD. I mean, it is great. And he did 2 songs on it. He lost his lyrics, his singing voice, and years ago, and I think it was called the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost his singing voice, but he had a way of talking a song through that would absolutely choke you up. He wrote a song called the Soldier's Christmas, and then he wrote one, What If? Both of them are country gospel. The Soldier Christmas was a great song we played for Christmas, and I'm trying to get it played for this next Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to him. And it's talks about he came to the old man came in from work, and he found a soldier sitting on his porch, and he invited him in, and he came in, and his son, the old man's son, died in the war, so the flag was folded and up on the by the fireplace and everything, and the young man went over and looked at it, and so he ended up slipping a $20 bill into the soldier's duffel bag, and he laid down. The old man did, and he gave the young man a place to lay down and rest before he went on his journey, because the young man said, "I got to be home for my father's birthday." And so he said, "I got to be home for my." So he laid down. He was reading his Bible, and he fell asleep, and he dreamed of angels. And he woke up, and where the Bible was at, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to look for the Bible, and where the soldier was laying, there the Bible laid with a feather and a $20 bill.
Oh, wow.
And a note. And the note says, "Thank you for the best Christmas I ever had. I'll see you real soon, Dad."
Oh my goodness, that's very inspiring. I mean, I'm very touched by it. And I have to say this, guys, is that the way this country is going right now and the events that happen, I mean, it's just so rare these days for you guys to come out there and touch hearts and show a lot of compassion. I mean, it is so rare these days. We need more guys like you to be out there to show compassion to everybody. Seriously.
Did you know that I don't have to answer for anybody's sins but my own. And I do have to answer for mine, though.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to answer for yours, and Tom's going to answer for his. And I don't have to answer. I have enough to answer for. And my goal in life is to leave a legacy to my wife, to my children, to my friends, to my listeners who listens to my song, who listens to what I write, what I sing. And so when I do something, I give it my very best, even though my best today is not like it was when I was younger, but I still give it my best because my time is getting short, and I know that. And this time on this earth is getting very short, my friend. And so people have so much hate. And the bad part is about it is this, is most people forget this. I cannot hate God's creation. That's a sin. I cannot do that. I cannot hate Obama. I cannot hate Hillary. But I can hate the sin. I can hate sin. And I can hate what they're doing because what these people are doing is a sin against, it's an abomination against God. And again, I go back and study my Bible, and I realize that when Israel turned their back on God, the Bible says that God turned his face away from them, and their enemies took them over. That is what's going to happen in this country if people don't get back. The government can pass any law they want to. I don't care what law it is they want to pass. But if it goes against God's word, that law I will not apply that law to me if it goes against God's word. And I'm not going to do that. I won't stand up for that word and what the Bible teaches me. Mm-hmm. And just because they make it a law doesn't make it right. And that's one of the problems we have today. We have Black Lives Matter. We have all these protesters. We have people getting killed. We have fighting. We have people blocking streets. We got people in here blocking streets, and nobody's got killed in Portland. It happened somewhere else, but they're protesting what happened somewhere else. You know, if you go and protest, there's a way of doing things that's right, and there's a way of doing things that's wrong. If you cause injury to other people or hurt other people, that's wrong. Mm-hmm. If you want to carry a sign and protest, that's okay. But don't bring everybody else down and cause it to hurt everybody else. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do that. I've seen too much of that in the battlefield. I will never do that. Mm-hmm. I don't like the way they're acting. I don't like the way they're doing things. But I don't like it because it's against God's word.
Or even trespassing on Capitol grounds, too. That's even worse.
Oh, yeah. And Kenny Lee he had to leave us, of course. But Kenny he's going to be in Arlington. And they're doing a concert and a rally in Arlington, Texas. And he's got that song, The Flag. And I think he sent it to you. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted that thing to air before they did that rally, up and down there, because they're standing up for what's right. Some of the stuff that went on was so wrong, and it's turned into, it's the same. If people would just study history. I love history. And me loving history, it breaks my heart to see what's happening in my country. It breaks my heart to see all the men that died on Hamburger Hill. Mm-hmm. I watched it. It's killing me.
Right.
And it hurts me so bad. And then I go to Arlington and I see all them crosses. And underneath every one of them crosses is a remains of a soldier that put his life on the line for this thing we call freedom.
Uh-huh.
I will never take my freedom for granted. My freedom should never be at the point to where I have a belief in something that I have to push it on somebody else to make them believe it too. I will never do that. I will never push anything on somebody that I absolutely. You have the freedom of speech, but you better make sure your freedom of speech is good for the all, not just yourself. People are too self-consumed in this country. And that's one of the things I've seen that's happened over my lifetime. People have gotten more self-consumed. It's all about me, 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 me. And then now it's all about races again. I thought that was behind us. I thought my door gunner was Jerry Johnson. I loved him, still love him. He was a black man. I loved him with all my heart. He got killed in Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
Don't sit there and talk and tell me about prejudice. There was a lot of it went on. But when it came to battle time, you wouldn't refuse anybody's blood if you needed it. And I've seen young men cry, dying and crying, asking for their mom and their loved ones on a foreign soil that they will never see their families again. That's called freedom. They put their lives on the line for freedom, not to misuse it, but to use it the way it's supposed to be used as an American.
Mm-hmm.
And people have stopped doing it. They forgot all about that. And so that's why I write some of the songs I write. I write songs that touch people's hearts, that maybe get them back in the mood of knowing what is true love. Is it something you see with your eyes? Is it something you feel? Is it something you think you're going to get married, this beautiful girl, and she's absolutely an angel, and then come find out beauty's only skin deep? And then later on in life, she gets older, she loses all that beauty. But you know what? The beauty doesn't come from your eyes. It comes from your heart. I look at my wife with my heart because my heart and soul loves her so much. There is no way in the world I could ever abuse my wife. There's no way in the world I could ever make her cry out of anger. I will never do that. And I even wrote a song about that.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a song about that because I broke her heart one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she told me, she said, you won't record that song because that's way too personal.
Right,
It's
understandable.
talking about an old man and woman, and it talks about an old man and an old woman in the hospital where tears are falling like never before. She reaches down, she's holding his hand and brushing his arm, and still loving her with all of her old charms. She bends over, kissing him on the forehead. A tear falls on his cheek. The old man's eyes dimly open. Then the old man begins to speak. But honey, why must you cry? She said, because, honey, you're leaving me. You're about to die. He said, honey, how many times must I tell you? I love you so much, I could never leave you forever, but just for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
He's only waiting on me in heaven if people don't know what I'm talking about. So that's it.
Right.
But anyway, I'm about running out of stuff to talk about, but I want to give you Richard Putman's phone number.
Oh,
and
okay. Well, okay. Hey, Jimmy. We'll do that off the air, but we're gonna go ahead and play "Send Me an Angel." But first, I'd like to remind everybody to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also, a shout out to our official sponsor, international award-winning author Mia Moshinzia. with his book, Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. And we'll be back with James Hendry and Send Me an Angel coming up after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device, subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
find a cloud of loneliness clouded my mind. So I prayed to God to send me someone to love. Then he sent me his angel from his storehouse of love. She's an angel from heaven, sent to watch over me. She has to be an angel with this kind of love, to walk by my side with all of her love. My angel from heaven, from God's storehouse of love. My angel from heaven, with all of God's love.
That was a beautiful song, Send Me an Angel, by James Hendry here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, I mean, that's just so inspirational, and it just makes me think of my wonderful wife, Serena. And where can we find Send Me an Angel at and your other music, James?
Well, right now, it's still in the process of being all finished up. It's not on the market yet, but you can, I kind of do things probably backwards. So
Don't we all these days? I mean, if there's no, if society encourages no rules, us artists should do no rules. Podcasters, people like you and people like Tom and Kenny and everybody, it's like, if they're going to go by no rules, we shouldn't too, right?
The whole thing is I write songs to touch the hearts. I write poetry, it's called, from my heart and soul. I write poetry that touches the heart. I put my stuff out there on Facebook. I had a demo artist one time tell me, he said, the stuff you're putting out there, you're just waiting for it to be sold. I said, I don't care. I said, believe it or not, I don't care. I said, if somebody takes the stills on my songs, God knows I wrote it. I know I wrote it. My family knows I wrote it. But if they make that song into a big hit, and it touches a lot of hearts, I said, then it's still a blessing, whether they stole it or didn't steal it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend of mine, he went to Nashville in the 60s, and he was doing great. And he wrote a bunch of songs. And he came back and he just quit. He said, people stole my songs. And I sat and talked to him one day, and I said, you know what, Glenn? I said, his name's Glenn Refuge. I don't know that people know about it. Superb writer, superb singer, just a heart of gold. And he's from Dade City, Florida, just like the Bellamy brothers. Dave and Howard from right out of Dade City, Florida. We all grew up together. We're buddies, we're pals, we're friends. I could care less how big they are in the music business. They're still family.
Uh-huh.
And so he came back and he was telling me, he said, and so I finally had a heart-to-heart talk with him. And I said, Glenn, I said, I don't write songs to worry about people stealing them. I write songs because I can't help myself.
Uh-huh.
I said, they come to me, and God sends them to me in dreams. And at this age, I better get up and write it as soon as it comes to me, because I won't remember it in the next morning.
Exactly.
So I lose a lot of sleep. I said, what if you wrote one song that would cause one person to turn around their life and to give their life back to God and start serving the Master.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you know what? He said, Don Williams told me the same thing. And I looked at him and laughed. I said, now you have somebody famous to tell you, you've got a friend that told you the same thing. I said, so you need to take heed to it. And I said, don't worry about people. I said, let God separate the thieves. I said, you just keep writing songs because they're too beautiful. And I mean, he can write a song. He wrote a song about a pickup. And I ain't going to say any more than this, but somebody stole that song and turned it around. And that song became a big hit. But all they had to do is change a couple of words. And therefore, by doing that, they have the right to record that song.
Uh-huh.
I do things a little different. I write a song. I get it recorded. I get the recording. I get the music. I get the lyrics. And then I get a copyright on it then. Everything's down with me singing the song and when it was sung and everything. They're going to have a hard time proving that they wrote that song. And they can change the music, but they can't do it. I wrote a song called Why Don't They Mind Their Own Business? Talking about the federal government.
Uh-huh.
I got the copyrights on the lyrics. And they called Fred, my best friend who passed away, my manager. They called Fred and told Fred, he said, is Mr. Henry planning on trying to get copyrights on this music? He said, no, we know we can't do that. He said, because that's Hank Williams' senior song. It's the Williams song. And he said, well, you tell Mr. Hendry we love the song. Well, it's a political song.
Amazing.
It talks about government and why don't they mind their own business.
Mm-hmm.
And if they mind their own business, they won't be minding mine. And so it's really a funny song, but at the same time, it's reality. I wrote that song 10 years ago before all this stuff started happening. 10 years ago. And everything that I wrote has now happened. And yet I didn't like the people who of what I was seeing was done in my country. And so that's what made me write the song. And I just went down the road and started doing it. I did another song. There's a song that Janis Joplin did. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Well, I was singing that song one time. I was walking across the parking lot at my sister's. They own a big burial vault company. So I made a logo up for them. You stab them, we slab them. But anyway, so I was walking across the parking lot, and I just started singing, oh, Lord, won't you buy me? I'm going, Lord, why am I singing that song? I don't like that song because it's kind of like mocking God. God don't buy you anything. God gives you time. That's what he gives you. He gives you time, and that time is to serve him and honor him.
Mm-hmm.
So I began to sing that song, and a little voice came in my head, changed the words. So this is what I changed it to. Oh, Lord, won't you give me just a little more time where I can serve thee in a holy state of mind, and I will love thee to the end of my time. Oh, Lord, won't you give me just a little more time? This world is wicked and changed, and this world is wicked and losing its mind. They've taken your word down and left you behind. The government is leading without you in mind. Oh, Lord, won't you give me just a little more time? Change the whole thing. And by the way, Janis Joplin didn't add the music to that song. It was added later on.
Wow, amazing. That is something.
So I take things that happen in life and I turn it into a song, good or bad.
Uh-huh.
I turn it into a song. And I get my point across in the song, And 9 times out of 10, I asked somebody, would they do the one, why don't you mind your own business? That person, I ain't going to tell you who the person is. You'll have to figure it out. That person told me, he says, I have been in jail. I have never been in prison.
Oh, my goodness.
The names in the political world that has really helped destroy this country, and as far as my eyes can see, probably everybody else too, and created the mess that we're in today.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how a song is born with me, and then people want to hear me sing, they can go to Reverb Nation. I put a bunch of my old stuff on there. I do a lot of Elvis Presley stuff. I do a lot of Don Williams. I do a lot of the old country. I even did some Randy Owens, Alabama, and them. What some great guys. I mean, man, you don't meet any nicer people than those boys. They are fantastic. And I got to tell you this story. And we was in Mountain Home, Idaho, and I was coming through, and they was going in, and Randy and them, they was over in Hollywood somewhere doing a show, but that's at the top of their career when they started out. And boys looked at me and says, wonder if there's a place to go fishing. And I said, well, I said there is, but how much line do you have on your rod and reel or on your pole? He said, why? I said, well, there's a big old bridge going into Twin Falls. I said, I think it's about 500 feet down to that water.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's where Eagle wanted to do that jump is there. And that, I think that's where he did it, wasn't it, in Idaho? When he did that big jump, it was a forest and the parachute opening.
Oh, my gosh.
But anyway, and we had a big laugh, and they went and they had to sit there and wait on Randy and them come back. So it was a lot of fun. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. So, but Mike, Tom, you have any more you need to say? Or you have any questions you want to ask us, Mike?
I think we're pretty much good to go. And just lastly, where can we find your music at?
You can find it, you can find it on, I don't have it for sale. I put it on Reverb Nation, and I have climbed the charts on Reverb Nation. I'm number 4 now. And I think that's local, but Reverb's been doing a great job pushing my music. And the ones that they're pushing, though, is not the ones I wrote. The one that's climbing is a song by Elvis Presley, Don't Cry Daddy. And everybody seems to like that.
Uh-huh.
And then I redid some Johnny Horton stuff. I did The Mansion You Stole, which I don't usually brag on myself, but that song turned out great. And then I did one that I figure everybody's tearing down our southern monuments and stuff, and it all has to do with history. So I redid the song Johnny Reb.
Oh, my.
And so I put it on Facebook, but that's daring, buddy, when you do that. You can't tear down my song. You can tear down your monuments, but you can't tear down history. History will always be history. I don't care what you do. You can tear everything down in the world. We can't change history. The only thing we can change is the way we change to make history and to learn from the history to be better. But don't tear down monuments. That is absolutely foolish. That is foolish.
That is great.
Nothing. It's foolish. So I did the song, you fought all the way, Johnny Reb, Johnny Reb. You fought all the way, Johnny Reb. I saw you marching with Robert E. Lee. You held your head up high trying to win the victory. You fought for your folks, but you didn't die in vain. And even though you lost, they speak highly of your name. That song is exactly what happened. And Johnny Horton did that song. And Johnny Horton is not from the South. He was from California.
Yes, I did read about that. I remember, yes. I mean, he had a great song. Well, it was a Sink the Bismarck, and I think he had, I'm trying to think of another song, but yeah, his career was cut tragically short. You know, a car crash. My mom saw him in Racine, Wisconsin. Great singer, but his life was just ended too soon, way too soon.
Oh yeah, and you know, there's something else that people need to know. Ricky Van Shelton, what an honor, what a blessing to know. I mean, Ricky Van Shelton is he's a godly man. His wife, he's a family man. He loves his family. He loves his wife. He loves God. Ricky Van Shelton quit the music industry when he was at the very top, and he quit, and he made a choice in his life. Sonny James did the same thing. Sonny James was at the top of his life in the music industry, but he made a choice. Do I spend my life away from my family and for the career of this music, or do I choose God and family? He chose God and family at the top of his career, Sonny James. Then Ricky Van Shelton did the same thing. I'm so proud of that man that it's unbelievable, and his beautiful wife and his family. He chose his family and his wife, and he left the music industry. We make choices in life, and we need to always remember we put God first, and everything else come in, because you know what? He's the creator. I'm going to say this. If God spoke this world into existence, he didn't roll his sleeve up and start throwing things out there. He spoke it into creation. And he said, let us build man in our own image. In our own image, let us build man. Create man. In our own image, let us create Eve. And he spoke it into existence. He took the rib of Adam. He made a woman. If you measure your rib, just take your bottom rib from there to your feet and from to the top of your head, guess what? It's exactly halfway. Mm-hmm. You are not to put your foot on top of your woman. She didn't come from your foot. You're not the Lord over her. She is your helpmate. For Pete's sake, wake up, young men. She's your helpmate. Treat her that way. And I notice all of my songs that I write, and I had some women come back and said, everything you write is to glorify us women. I said, yeah, that's what keeps my marriage. I glorify the angel that God sent me. So therefore, every song I write is a love song. It's always to uplift the woman. I tried to write a cheating song. I got laughing.
Just stick to what you do best. That's the bottom line. Stick to what you do best.
You know what, Mike? I did this thing, and I was going down the road, and I started this serious cheating song. And it was like, she packed her suitcase, and it was like a Don Williams song. She packed her suitcase, and she walked through the door. And that began to change things. She packed her suitcase, she walked to the door. I was wondering if she's ever going to leave, or if she's going to keep on talking some more. Her best friend down the road is waiting to move in. don't let the door hit you in the rear end. And so I had a friend, I had my baby sister, Ruth, and she said, I want you to send me the lyrics to that song. I said, no, I'm not going to finish it because it's too funny, because I couldn't see myself. Number one, my wife won't pack her suitcase and walk the door because I treat her what she is. She is my very best part of me. I was nothing until that woman came into my life. And she made me everything I am by holding my hands. And whether it was good or bad choices I've made, she has never thrown it in my face. Not one time has she ever did that. And if that's not a blessing, if that's not a helpmate, I don't know what is. A lot of young women can take a lesson from my beautiful wife.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, people, there's 14 years difference in our ages. We've been married 34 years.
Amazing.
I'm
Congratulations.
14 years older. I've been 14 years older than my wife. And it's not the age, it's your wisdom. Use some wisdom. Think about how you would feel. And that's what I ended up doing when I made her cry when we first got married. All at once, that woman turned to me, and she didn't start getting on. She hit me on the leg because I did something stupid. And she hit me on the leg and said, how dare you? And I looked at her, and I played the He-Man. I said, woman, that's really putting it right on her. I mean, I laid it in her face. Woman, don't you ever hit me again. And I started shifting gears, and I had a sports car, and I was going down the road, and I passed this guy that gave me the finger, and I made sure I stopped and let him see mine. And so going down the road, and she said, I want you to look at me. And I said, oh, no, I ain't going to say the way I said it. I was mad. I said, no. And I used a slang word. I said, you don't want me to look at you. And she said, I'm not asking you. I'm begging you. Please, honey, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the prettiest brown eyes. And I turned around and looked at her. I said, what in the H do you want? She said, I want to know if you love me. Boy, I mean, I went from a red hot anger to the bluest coal you could ever see in your life. I slammed on brakes, slid off the side of the road, and Florida, no big bitch, thank goodness. And I grabbed her and I wept. And I said, I love you more than my life. She said, what if that man would have shot me? I said, he would have never breathed another breath. I'd have killed him.
Uh-huh.
She said, then what if he would have shot the only man that I've ever loved and ever will love?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I got your point. That's the day that I told her, I said, I will never again break your heart out of anger. And I never did. Now, she never promised not to holler at me. but I kept my promise. And so there's a woman, and she uses her wisdom and use the wisdom that God gave you. She can control the argument. She can control the anger just by the love that she absolutely shows. And that's what my wife has done for me for 34 years.
That is amazing. That's why God sent you an angel, just like in the song, Send Me an Angel. James and Tom, just want to say a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Once again, the Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries and you love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love would be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and more. Grab your copy today. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can also check out the Mike Wagner Show over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, and more. Plus heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. James Hendry and Tom Denman, a very big thank you for your time on the Mike Wagner Show. You guys have been great. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep this up to date. Love you back on 2021 beyond. You guys have great inspirational stories, and God bless you guys. Stay in touch.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Mohsen Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamohsenzia.com. Missing. Available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.